Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Atlas podcast. I'm your coach. Oh, I'm not your coach, but I'm your host and your coach, Coach Atlas. And today's a bit of a different episode. I got to thinking today, you know what? I won't be in the right environment at the right time to make the right episode with the right notes and the right setup and the right structure and the right plan. And I'm just going to record anyway. And so, what we're doing here today is I want to share a bit of what's happening in my current circumstance because I think there's a couple different lessons that I actively am learning, that I've been learning, that are really beneficial to this process. And before I start there, I think this is a really helpful piece to note that although I spend my time, my energy, my gifts supporting other people in their relationships, both individually and relationally, as individual calls and couples calls. That is my life's passion, my life's work. It is also my life's passion and my life's work as an individual. It is what I do for myself and for my relationship and for my relationships in my life. That is what I spend my time learning and growing and falling short and trying new things and ultimately just trying to gain a better understanding and learn and be better. And so what that isn't why I share all of that is to note that although I spend my time doing this as a career, I am also a human constantly working on trying to figure it out just like you. So right now I'm dealing with a couple different circumstances that are showing up in new ways for me to learn. And one of them, ironically, is actually something that I didn't expect to be relational, which is car insurance. I have delayed getting car insurance for some time now. I am a good driver. I rely on my driving skills. I think I can always get myself out of a situation. And so I've been delaying getting car insurance. And now we only have one vehicle in the household. And so I'm the primary driver and I take care of usually wherever we go. I'm driving. I'm creating that structure and that safety. And what I have been doing for the last, honestly, a year is thinking, I can always find a way. And while that is really a powerful perspective, there's something missing in that, which is the structure of car insurance. Knowing that you're taken care of, knowing that you're covered, while also knowing that even though when you're covered, things happen, you can still find a way to take care of things and handle them well. And so I've been living on this idea that I got this. And what I didn't recognize through the process is that I am unknowingly causing a sense of unsafety for my relationship, for my partner. And it actually is showing up in a couple different ways. One being her belief that I will take care of the things that are important. Me not taking care of this, even though I do everything else to the standard and to the T and I'm trying, this is one of those funny things that I'm kind of saying no to, even though I'm doing my best to handle everything else in the quote unquote right ways or productive ways. There's still this one piece that I just refuse to take care of, and so it creates this small barrier of a fully settled into trust experience for her, a fully settled into the safety, knowing that I will take care of things and be the leader of the household. And so I didn't really clock that. I thought to myself, you know what, it's all good. It's actually on me. It's a bigger problem for me than anybody else. I'll deal with it when I feel like it. I was really taking this approach of kind of willy-nilly, la-di-da, it's fine, and I'll get around to it. And you can hear, if you're really listening into that perspective, you can hear a specific age, an age of behavior, meaning there's a version of me that's younger that is clearly driving the bus when it comes to this car insurance experience. And it's very teenager. It's very rebellious. It's very screw you. It's very like it's not important. It doesn't matter. It's all about me. I'm figuring my life out. Why isn't the world offering me insurance? Like why don't you just give me insurance? Why do I have to work for it? And so you can hear this fight. And so what I didn't recognize was that it was negatively affecting the overall safety and trust of the relationship. And again, her trust and reliance of safety in me as her partner. Now, it may be for some of you thinking or listening to this episode thinking it's just car insurance. Like it's not that big of a deal. But it's not really about what we believe is a big deal or not. That would be like saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't intend to cause you pain. It wasn't my intention. So it shouldn't be a big deal. What happens is my intention is actually to keep money in my bank account. My intention is to rely on my driving skills. My intention is to, prepare for a future family financially. And so I'm actually trying to keep money by not getting insurance helps me do that. So my intention is actually quite pure, and it is for my family, but my impact is a struggle to fully settle into safety. And my impact is a slight gap in fully trusting. That's my impact. And so that needs to be my primary focus. And so it has become that. But there's a secondary part to this story. So I lean into this part of me and I say, you know what? Okay, I've been delaying this long enough. I've created enough micro moments of distrust and unsafety between our relationship in micro ways. Let's heal this. Let's move this forward. So I go on the hunt and I get all these quotes. And because I've delayed it, they're high. They're not fun numbers. And so today I say, you know what? Let's just accept one of those numbers and let's move on. So I go and I call them and I say, hey, you know what? I'm in. Let's do this. And they say to me, oh, well, we actually can't do that today. And I said, why? And they said, well, because you need to do this and this first. And I said, I need to do this and this first. You won't take my money today. I'm getting frustrated. And they're like, no, I'm sorry. There's still two things you need to do. So I'm pretty frustrated at this point. And I could feel myself wanting to blame them. My tone was not lovely with that person, which I do regret. And it was just this experience of like, why aren't you just letting me do this? Don't you know how long I've delayed it? Don't you know like how long I've tried to avoid this? Don't you know how much effort it's taking me to just deal with this? Like, don't you know? Why can't you just give it to me? And so there was an expectation that I had of them to just give it to me easily, make this easy for me. Even though I have made it hard for myself for the last year, now my expectation is that they should just give it to me easy. And so I was also learning about myself in this process, realizing that when I ignore friction, I create more friction. When I delay handling things, it makes handling things harder. And it also creates unnecessary suffering in me, which does in fact impact my relationship. Now, even when I am saying, screw it, I'm not going to do it, I'll avoid it, and I think I'm leaving it out of my mind, there is a small micro piece in me that knows that I am out of integrity. It knows that this rebellion, this screw you, leave me alone, F off, I don't want to do this perspective, this not actually facing the shit perspective is out of integrity with me. I am not whole when I avoid. I have holes when I avoid. And so being out of integrity, my belief is that being out of integrity is the greatest suffering we endure. And so I have this micro tiny piece of me that's almost like an open loop, a hole in the bag that's slowly draining water, or rather my energy over time. And that's affecting how I can show up in the world. That's affecting how much I trust myself and therefore trust others. That's affecting how well I can operate in my job, in my commitments, in my relationship dynamic, in my level of connection and intimacy I feel I have, because I have holes. I have these disconnections, this dissonance between who I know I want to be and who I'm being right now. And so I decided I would come on here and share these things with you because it's important to understand, like I said earlier, like I am also somebody looking to just learn and figure it out. But along the way, I continue to find an incredibly wild, fascinating, cool learning experience where something that as simple as insurance is having this micro impact on my relationship that maybe isn't fully felt at the highest degree, but is still felt on a micro degree. And the micro cuts are like dying by 1,000 cuts, slowly but surely, not handling and avoiding this and avoiding that. It's interesting that I've learned that when I start to avoid one thing or two things, I then also avoid three things and four things. I'm creating this culture, this perspective, this mindset that avoidance and ignorance and pushing things off is the right way. And yet I'm kind of enduring these micro cuts of out of integrity and disconnection with myself. And so I share all of this to, again, remind you I'm a human, that I'm also figuring out. Two, to share that you may actually not know what a potential impact of your actions really is. You think you know because you have this story of an intention that you have, and yet when you don't have the actual true answer, then you actually don't know. And so I'll finish with this. I was talking to a client of mine, and we were talking, and I invited him to answer this question. I said, do you know for certain that your partner trusts you to handle money? And he thought about it for a moment, and then he said, well, I think so, because, I do this and I do this and I do this. And I said, well, back up. You said, I think so. My question was, do you know so? He said, well, I take care of it all, right? I do all of these things. So it would be implied that I would. And I'm like, correct. Good language. It is implied, but is it known? And so with my experience with this insurance, I assumed that she was good with it. I assumed she knew that I would handle it eventually. I assumed that she felt the safety and the trust in there. And I did not know for certain how she actually truly felt because I didn't outright ask her. Didn't outright ask her. You don't know until you know. Otherwise, you're in your own mind. And let me tell you, we are good at giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt. We are really damn good at saying, yeah, look, I'm actually doing great in this area. Okay, well, then I would love to hear them say that. I want to know there's congruency there. I want to know there's a true alignment there. And God, doesn't it feel so much better to just know? Living in this idea, this hope, this assumption that you know is actually a break in connection. It's a break in truth. It's an attempt at hoping to find the truth while also simultaneously being scared of the truth. What if you were to ask your partner today, hey, do you trust me to take care of things? It's a vulnerable question because they could say no. Or they could say, yeah, I would say so, which also just feels like a no. It feels just as bad. But wouldn't it be better just to know? Because then you know where your opportunities are. You know where you think you're showing up and where they see you showing up in truth. Wouldn't it be better to just know? Knowing gives you the opportunity to actually find an answer. In the job, it's the same thing. When your boss doesn't give you direct feedback and you think you're doing a good job and then you don't get the promotion, how frustrating. How frustrating. You assume you're doing a good job. What if you were to just go and find out? Go straight to source and ask. But they could tell you, no, you're not doing that great. But you're doing decent. You're doing good, but not great. You'd have to eat that and truly face that and acknowledge, okay, damn, I have opportunities. Damn, I have things I need to work on. Damn, I really thought I was killing this. There's something else they're looking for. It's better to know. It gives you more clarity, and clarity creates connection. Without clarity, you have disconnection. Your assumptions are actually disconnecting. So, in this off-the-cuff, middle of the day, no planning episode, the lessons are in there. Ignoring friction creates more friction. It actually doesn't get rid of friction. It creates more friction. It makes it harder to deal with later. Number two, your intention is really cool, but your impact is way cooler. Focus on that. You'll get more value out of understanding the impact of your actions versus trying to fight for your intention. And then number three, all of us are just trying to figure this shit out. All of us have mistakes. All of us have a past. All of us are just every day learning and trying to figure it out and try to make things smoother, try to work through and try to grow and try to actually make change that is felt in the body, not just thought through in the mind, so that it sticks and lands and stays with us. And so I spend my time doing this work too. So if for any reason you decide, you know what, I think that maybe there's a good opportunity to take you up on your services, Mr. Coach Atlas. I hope that you know that you're working with somebody who is also constantly doing the work. So I leave that with you today. I hope there was some value in this off-the-cuff episode. And if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. If for any reason you love this episode, please subscribe and download. Obviously, that helps deliver this information to new people. As always, we keep these episodes short, concise, and to the point. Today was a little bit more sporadic, but we still came in on a great time, 15 minutes. If you want to take this work further, I'm available. Reach out to me, atlas.matsuda@gmail.com, or find me on all the socials at the relationship coach _ I'm out there, still pushing out content when I can. Podcasting has actually become my primary content production. So follow along here and listen. I hope that there's value in this, because ultimately I think we could all use some relational support in one way or another. There's always a skill set maybe we don't know we're missing, or we do know we're missing, and we need support on that. So this has been, I believe, episode 31 of the Relationship Atlas podcast. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you in the next one.